sometimes there isn't. It's normal, okay? Then you can say where you want to go and agree the price before you start the drive, okay?
They will charge you twice.
Yes.
Because it's more expensive.
So agree the price every time before you start the drive, okay? And in the city center, 300 rubles is the maximum, okay? Not 3,000. 300 is maximum. 100 is already good, okay?
Depends.
Okay. Okay, or 200 is already good. When you are, I gave you a map, okay? You have a map. There is a cross. I made a cross, a blue cross with a circle, or just a circle, where our hostel is. This is where our hostel is. Find it. It's on the big map, not the zoom. Okay? The street where we are is called Rubinstein, or Rubinstein, I don't know, there are so many, Rubinstein. Okay? Our hostel is called Mir Hostel, Rubinstein. Can you see it? Yes? Well, now we are going to the hostel. We will check in, we will get our rooms, and then we have some
Free time, like 1 hour run. We start at 1.
We have free time until 1 p.m. At 1 p.m. we start the program downstairs from the hostel. Okay? So you have 1 hour to do whatever you want. Eat, take shower, just rest, and so on. And at 1 p.m. we start the program. We don't come back to the hostel until the evening. Okay? We don't come back. And every day is like this, basically. When we leave the hostel in the morning, we don't come back because our program is very big, it's long, and we don't come back. The dinner is at 7 o'clock p.m. for those who are going to the dinner. Those who are not going to the dinner, then from 7 o'clock you have free time today. In the hostel there are rooms for 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 10, 12 people. Okay? There are different rooms. It looks like a big apartment. There is kitchen, living room, and all the rooms. Different rooms, okay? The rooms for 2 and 3 people are booked. Sorry. Don't take them. Okay? For 7, I don't know. You decide. All the other rooms are available. First arrived, first served. Okay? In the hostel, there is breakfast in the morning from 8 until we start the tour. There is Wi-Fi in the hostel, but not for everybody. The first ones who connect can get internet. The next ones cannot. Okay? So you will learn this weekend to share internet. It's possible to share internet. Do you have questions at the moment? No? I think. Okay, then we have. Yes. Where are they? Yeah. We will pass you some diaries, St. Tallinn diaries, which you can get for free if you fill in the form to be in the diary. Okay, you will get it at the last party of St. Tallinn. You can read what they have done last semester or last year. So take a look and fill in the form also when you go back to Tallinn. I give the microphone to Ksenia. This is our local guide for 2 days. Please make a big applause for her now.
No, it was earlier.
And big applause for our driver also, Yuri. Okay, let's start.
Thank you guys, thank you very much. So, hello, welcome to St. Petersburg, welcome to Russia. How are you today? Great. No, it will not go like this. So once again, how are you today? Okay, great. Have you been to Russia before? Has anyone been here before? Yeah, One guy we have. All right. To St. Petersburg or to Russia? One girl. Sorry, I cannot see from here. What countries do we have here? Do we have people from Italy? No. Germany? Yeah. All right. Guten Tag. I used to speak German a little bit, but now ich habe alles vergessen. Any other countries, like, Hungary? No. Spain? Estonia? Yay! All right. Any Russian people? Except for me. A driver, I suppose. All right. What other countries do we have here? America? Mexico? All right. Must be so cold for you here. You must have completely different climate. All right. Anyone from the U.S.? Australia? All right. India?
Yeah, only one.
Okay, we have one guy from India. Great. Are there any other countries I haven't mentioned? Everybody's so... What is
China.
China, all right, from China. What other countries? Singapore?
Yes, Singapore.
So Singaporean, Serbian. We have Serbian people here. All right. Really old. We have a big group today. 46? 46. So, all right, now I'm going to tell you a few words about what we're going to do today. We'll repeat some of the information that Etienne has mentioned already. As you all know, we're now going to the hostel to check in, and then we're going to have a break for lunch, or some food, something to eat, some snack. We will not really have much time, but around like 1 hour. And then we're going to start our city tour. So we are starting at 1, and it will last approximately till 6, maybe 6:30. We are going to see really a lot of sights and attractions today, all the city downtown, and we're going to see 2 of the churches most famous in the city, St. Isaac's Cathedral, and that beautiful famous Cathedral of Our Savior on Spilled Blood, which I'm sure you've already heard about and you've seen. It's that colorful church with little onion domes covered with enamel. Very famous, really. We call it like a business card or the emblem of St. Petersburg, one of the must-sees of the city. So these are 2 churches we're going to see from inside. We are also going to see the Peter and Paul's Fortress. It's actually now on your left-hand side. You can see that a little bit behind you. There's elongated granite brownish wall with the yellow church building tiers in its territory. So that's the place we will go to as well. And we'll have some walk there through the territory of the fortress. And then in the evening we're going to have traditional Russian dinner. And it will be already at 7. Right now on your left you can see, by the way, there's the central square of the city, the largest square of St. Petersburg that we call simply Palace Square. After that green-white building we have just passed, it's the former winter palace, former winter residence of Russian royalty, Russian empress. And right now we're getting to the central avenue of the city. So that's the central square on your left-hand side. And you should remember this column you can see in the center. It's called Alexander column, made of 1 piece of granite. This column we are going to meet tomorrow for the Hermitage Museum. Because the Winter Palace, again, that bright green-white building that you can see now on your left, a little bit behind us, that is one of the buildings of the Hermitage Museum today. All in all, the museum includes 5 buildings, and plus a lot of branches, and the Winter Palace is one of the most famous among them. So this column we are going to meet tomorrow for the Hermitage Museum, but of course tomorrow I will remind you about this again. Right now we've turned to the central avenue of the city. From here it will take us around 20 more minutes to get to the hostel. The name of the street is Nevsky Avenue. It is called so after the main waterway of the city that we just crossed a minute ago. It's called Neva River. It's the name Nevsky Prospect or Nevsky Avenue. That's the way we make adjectives in Russian language from the names, by adding ski or Skaya sometimes. We make adjectives. So the name of the river is Niva. The name of the street is Nevsky Street. On your right hand side now you can see the famous Kazan Cathedral that we are also going to visit in the course of our 2-day tour. We will do it tomorrow. And remember that we are having the bus only for today. So today our driver Yuri will drive us around the city so that you will get this general idea of St. Petersburg, about the sites, its history and its culture. Well, tomorrow we will have a walking tour. And from our hostel we will walk to this church you can see on your left. That's the Kazan Cathedral. It's the principal cathedral of St. Petersburg. The main church here is Russian Orthodox Church. Russian Orthodox is the main religion here. Also tomorrow we are going to do the famous Yusupov Palace. This is the place the palace that originally belonged to the wealthiest Russian noble family, but mainly associated not even with the owners of the palace, but with Rasputin, such a famous legendary personality in Russian history. That was the very palace where Rasputin was killed, was murdered by the last owner of the palace, Felix Yusupov. So we will talk about them tomorrow. We're going to see the palace as well. So what we're going to do tomorrow is, again, we're having a walking tour. We will, first of all, in the morning, we will walk to the Kazan Cathedral, and we will give you some free time to see the church from inside. But it's a functioning church, an active one. That's why we are not allowed to take tours, to even excursions inside, and we are not allowed to take pictures inside if it is an active church. So you will have just free time there. Then from there we will walk to the Yusupov Palace. Well, some of you, I know that not everybody is going there. And then we are having the Hermitage Museum after break for lunch. And then we also going to take a boat trip. So we will take a boat trip through the canals and rivers of St. Petersburg. We'll see the city from water as well. We really have a lot of water. That's why, to my mind, this boat trip is really worth doing, because around 1/5 of the city it's water, maybe even 1/4. We have a lot of canals and rivers. That's why maybe you've heard that quite often the city, like Stockholm, like Amsterdam, it is sometimes called Venice of the North, Northern Venice, or New Amsterdam sometimes they call it, because of those canals and rivers. And one of them we're approaching now, that's the famous Fountain River, and we're going to cross it by one of the most famous bridges of the city, called the Anichkov, after the Russian general and engineer who supervised the construction of some of the buildings here around, and the construction of the bridge as well. The bridge is mainly famous for those 4 sculptures you will see it's decorated with, 4 different sculptures created by an Italian sculptor, Claude, showing young youth trying to tame horses, which is like allegorical representation of mankind, of humans trying to tame the nature. So all this time we've been driving by the Nevsky Avenue, the central avenue of the city. Very soon we are going to turn right, and I don't know if you can see it from here, probably you can, in the very, very distance from here, at the end of the street, what's actually the middle of the street, you can see an obelisk, very, very far. Can you see this column? It's an obelisk monument dedicated to the Second World War and our victory over Germany. Sorry guys, but we're going to talk a lot about Germany today. So in case you would like to do some shopping, for example, on the right from this obelisk you will see a 4-story huge mall. It's actually at a walking distance from your hostel. It's really close. It's very big. It's called Galleria, which, as you may guess, means gallery. It's a local mall, the most famous, the biggest in the city, really the place where you can spend a whole day. Just in case you would like to do some shopping, so it's on the right from this obelisk. Well, we just a few minutes already come. The hostel is located in a very, very little, very narrow street. That is why we cannot get really close to the hostel by bus. It's just impossible. The street is too narrow there. That is why what we're going to do now is we're going to make a stop at this church that you will see in a minute on your left-hand side. Another famous, active, functioning church of the city, Russian Orthodox Cathedral, Vladimirsky we call it. And from here we will take a walk, but we will walk through the building. This is the quite a lot of streets actually. Maybe you've noticed all of the streets in the city are parallel and they are straight. And sometimes to get from one street to another, you don't have to walk around, but sometimes you can walk through the building or through the inner yard. And this is what we're going to do now. So on your right-hand side, you can see this building with the big windows, round windows. We will walk through this building and get to the parallel street. This is the famous Rubinstein, or I think in German it's better, it's right to pronounce Rubinstein. Rubinstein Street, where your hostel is located. And plus, the reason why we would like to do so... А мы не у собора остановимся? А мы у собора же. Ну, в прошлый раз, мы хотели у собора. Можно нам остановиться где-нибудь здесь? Или развернуться? А развернуться нельзя? Просто по Большой Москве. Ой, Большой Московской. Спасибо. All right. So, the reason why we also would like to take you through this building is that there is a local market there. So that while having this 1 hour break for lunch, you can go to this market just 5 minutes from your hostel and buy something to eat if you'd like.
Do you remember? Yes. So we are coming very soon.
Okay.
So you put the extra beds in the rooms also? So we should be there in 15 minutes. I forgot to mention to you before, be careful with thieves and pickpockets, okay? You look like tourists, really, so you are a target for some of them. I saw some guys in our group, you have your wallet in the back pocket of your jeans. This is a big mistake, okay? Close your pockets. The thieves, they can take your wallet or phone and then run really fast. So unless you run as fast as Usain Bolt, try to keep your documents and belongings, photo cameras, lens, and so on, very safe place all the time. Okay? Thank you.
All right, so there is one thing I would also like to add. I'm absolutely, I agree completely with Etienne that you should be very careful with your money and your documents, especially those in the course of the city tour. We're going to make several to do what we call photo stops in the most famous areas of the city, and this is the place where they really can be sometimes pickpockets. Like in every big city, actually, in the main streets, there are always some pickpockets. You should be very careful. So for sure, do not put any money, any document in your back pockets. Don't do this at all. Then an important thing is also that you must have an ISIC card with you for the entire tour for these 2 days, because in the museums they have different rules. In different museums they have different rules, and for example in the St.Petersberg Cathedral especially, and in the St. Isaac's Cathedral, those two churches where they require to show them the ISIC cards so that we will collect them or from all of you, and I will bring them to the ticket office, and they will check each of them if it is still valid or if it has expired and so on. It will take some time, but this is unfortunately what we have to do. In the Yusupov Palace, sometimes they ask, sometimes they don't. In the Hermitage, it's different, it depends. Sometimes they don't ask anything, sometimes they stop each student, and you have to show your ISIC card to prove that you are a student. So it's unpredictable, and we don't know what it will be like, but you must have your ISIC card with you to get a discount. Otherwise, you will have to pay as for adults, so it will be more money. And now the last thing is that when we start our tour at 1 o'clock, we will not get to the bus. The first thing we will do is to take a metro ride. It maybe sounds strange to include a metro into a city tour, but it's really worth seeing. I think you will like it. Our metro is the deepest in the world. And the deepest station we have today, it goes 102 meters underground. It's only underground. And our stations are really very beautiful, very decorative, ornate, decorated with marble, chevrons, chandeliers, mosaics, sculptures, and so on. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And you should be especially careful with your money and your documents in the metro. And so after the metro ride, it will take us around 1 hour. So only at around 2 o'clock, we will get back to the bus. And the bus will be here at this church. You can see on your right, you can see we'll come back to Vladimirsky Cathedral. So in case you get lost, you need to remember several things. What is the name of your hostel? Mir. Right. What is the name of the street your hostel is located in? Rubinstein or Rubinstein. And the name of the church? Vladimirsky. Or at least Vladimir. I remember Vladimirsky Cathedral. And this is the mall, the inside in this building. You can see on your left the building we will walk through, and there is also a big food for market there as well. So from here we're now going to the hostel.